Hi there, it's Dawn here at Stickle Town, and I'm having a bit of a Wednesday waffle day. The builders aren't here, it's pouring down with rain today, so I've actually got some piece to do videos in the house. Now, let me see, how do I put this? I'm admin, and I run a Facebook group for women preppers. And the other day, a lady on there posted about what she'd bought in the shops, which very often happens on the group. You know, people post what they've got, what bargains they've found, etc., etc. And she'd put in this post a photograph of what she'd bought, and there was 4 1-litre bottles of cooking oil, not this brand, but it was 4 1-litre bottles of cooking oil, and along with all the other things she'd bought. Now, there was another member on there who took offence at this and berated her for buying 4, not and going on, you know, we should be leaving things for other people and we shouldn't be buying in large quantities, etc., etc. And needless to say, quite a debate ensued, and it then became a bit of a slanging match, and I had to close comments on the post. Now, end of the day, anybody can go to the shop and buy however much they want of something, and it's nobody else's business whatever. If it's on the shelf, it's on the shelf, it's there to buy. If there's no limits imposed, there's no rationing, buy what you can afford and put it away. There's a big difference between prepping and hoarding. To me, hoarding is you're buying it just for the sake of it, you're not really going to use it, you just want it, and you're just going to have it all stacked up round, you've got no intentions of ever using it, and you'll perhaps clear out whole shelves of something. But 4 litres of cooking oil, which cooking oil we know there is going to be shortages of, and if you see a special offer, why are you not going to buy what you need now and maybe what you need next month? It makes sense, because if this costs £1, I don't know how much a bottle of cooking oil is at the moment, but for example, if this costs £1 now and there's a shelf full of it in the shop and they're doing a special offer, you know, selling it at £1, and you think, well, I buy 2 a month, so I'll get 2 now and I'll buy next month's. Then next month you go in and you find out it's gone up to £2 a bottle. If you hadn't bought it, who is the foolish one? You know, the one who didn't buy thinking they'd save? Or are you foolish because you've bought it and the next person who comes along, you know, thinks, I'm going to clear off the whole shelf because it's on a good offer, and they buy the whole shelf load and don't leave any for anybody else. And then the next person comes along who's desperate for cooking oil, can't get any, but they've known for months or weeks that there's going to be a shortage, but every time they've gone shopping, they thought, no, I'll wait, you know, I'll wait to see if it comes down in price and everything else. If you keep your head in the sand and you ignore what's going on out there, you've got nobody but yourself to blame when you can't get hold of something. Well, no, it's not you to blame because you can't get hold of it, but there's nobody but yourself to blame because you didn't have the forefront to think, I'll buy a bit extra to get it on the shelf. To me, 4 bottles of cooking oil is not hoarding. It is not being selfish. You're not clearing a shelf out. You're not depriving others. You're being sensible and thinking ahead for yourself. And like this lady had posted, you know, some of it would probably go to her mum, who was elderly and couldn't get out and didn't really stock up, so she had extra there for her mum as well. yeah, great. That is great thinking, and that is how it should be. If she'd gone there and she'd bought 50 bottles off the shelf and said, oh, it's on special offer, I've bought them all so nobody else can have any, yeah, maybe that is hoarding and that is being a bit selfish. But buying 4, no. Needless to say, the lady who was berating for this, she ended up leaving the group. So she, yeah, she didn't like this sort of thing. But anyway, I'm going to show you now the sorts of things we buy. By we, I mean me and my husband, because it's not just me who goes out and does shopping, but my husband does too. In fact, most of the time it is him that goes and does the shopping. So the other day on our shopping list was tea bags, sugar, and I jotted down cooking oil if you see it on special offer. What else was there? There was a few other bits and pieces as well. So this is what he came back with. Tea bags, then 2, and there's another 2. They were on special offer, and you got an extra 50% in the box, and it's the brand we use, or we prefer to use. So yeah, so he came back with 4 big boxes of tea bags when he went shopping. Sugar, he knows now not to look at the little bags of sugar. Especially coming up to summertime, we do a lot of preserving, we can go through a lot of sugar. So he came back with that big bag of sugar. British, we do try and buy the British produced sugar. And he came back with that big bag of sugar. And these are, I think they're 5 kilo bags. I must say on it somewhere. Yeah, 5 kilos, so 5 kilos. So he came back with 10 kilos of sugar. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I know a lot of husbands might only just come back with a bag of sugar if sugar was on the shopping list. But he's very much on board with this, and if he sees an offer, he will buy it. Sometimes it's not always stuff I would generally buy. He's got a thing for his chocolate biscuits and wagon wheels, and he will stockpile them, but that's up to him. So cooking oil, that's a big 10-litre bottle of cooking oil, and he came back with 2 of those. Why? Because they were on special offer if you bought 2, and they were the last 2 on the shelf. But if he hadn't have bought them, and he thought, I won't buy them, I'll leave them for somebody else, and then he'd have come home and I said, well, did you not pick up cooking oil? Well, there was only 2 there and I didn't want to clear the shelf, and you know, so I thought I'd leave it for somebody else. Well, I'm sorry, but that to me is being foolish. We use cooking oil, why shouldn't we take advantage of any offers? I said I needed an easy cook rice. That was the other thing, a long grain easy cook rice. This is going to be canned up. So he didn't just come back with 1 pack, 2, I've actually got 8 packs of this rice. When I'd been shopping a few weeks back, and I wasn't out shopping for anything we particularly needed, but there is a shop called Pound Stretchers that we have in town, and they've got a big warehouse sale on 50% off absolutely everything, including their food. So they had these jars, and they were 50% off. So and there's jars of white beans, and the shelf life on them is, hang on, I haven't got my glasses on, 25. So it's got another 3-4 years on it. Yeah, 3 years. We're in 22, aren't we? So these were down to 50p, and I did buy 7 jars of it. Also this which was, it worked out at, I think it was 49p, and I bought several of those. Even though I do make my own, if we have a crop fail and we don't get any tomatoes this year, you know, I need a backup. So yeah, half a dozen jars of that. Apple cider vinegar. I can't remember how much the apple cider vinegar was, but I know it was a good offer, and so I picked up 3 of those. But I do have also the big 5-litre containers of white vinegar, balsamic vinegar, malt vinegar, etc. So I always have them in stock because we use them for pickling. Dried beans. I picked up kidney beans. Got several bags of kidney. Can't remember how much there were. Several bags of the kidney beans, and there was haricot beans as well, and black-eyed beans. So I picked those up. And I picked up some of these. I think these worked out at 50p a pack, and there is 5 in each pack. We don't use the flavourings out of them, but I do use the noodles. So I picked up several of those. I didn't get this from that shop, but I got it from someone else, and it's what we call crisp and dry. It's a rapeseed oil, and I use this oil specifically. I've got a big bottle out there. I wanted another big bottle because I'm about halfway through that, and I don't like getting down to the end and trying to find it. But I couldn't find the big bottles anywhere when I went shopping. Now the crisp and dry I use when I make as potato crisps, or potato chips as they call them across the pond, and I find this is excellent for that, and it's my preferred choice. Olive oil, I picked up olive oil as well. Oh yeah, back onto the rapeseed oil, because they only had the small bottles. I did buy several of the small bottles. The olive oil, I bought several 1-litre bottles of olive oil. In the same shop, I bought a big thing of the hand gel, which is something we use a fair amount of. Being on a farm, it's very easy to clean our hands after handling animals, etc. The liquid soap, got a couple of those, and this one is another hand wash, so I picked up a couple of those. They were working out, I think, at about 30p each, and I think the hand soap was working out about 30p. I think the hand gel worked out about 70p. So and they had boxes of bicarb, so I got a couple of those. I think they were about 70p a box, and this is for home cleaning. This isn't food grade, so I got a couple of those. And I picked up a couple of these hard surface disinfectant cleaners as well. Now, some of the things I do generally buy in bulk is bicarbonate soda. I buy like this, and I have a little tub that I refill from this. It's cheaper to buy a lot of things like this in you know, big containers, and I buy these through Amazon's grocery. But as well as the bicarb, I get the baking soda the same as well. So, and again, I've got a little tub I keep topped up in my kitchen cupboard. And something else I buy in bulk, flour. Now this is the one I usually buy for my bread flour. So it's a strong white flour, and I sometimes get the mixed grain one as well, and I keep them in big barrels with locks on the top. I buy them through, I've always bought them through Amazon grocery, and I usually get Haygates, so it's a mill, not, you know, not our nearest mill, I could say. Now last year when I bought that because I usually buy one of those bread flours a year, and then I'll buy one of the mixed grain a year. Now the white, strong white one, last year I paid $16.99. No, I paid $14.99 for a 16 kilo sack. And then the end of last year, it's gone up to $16.99. Now this year, yeah, it was $16.99 when I bought it this time round. But now, a month later, it has gone up to $21.99. So that's how much things are going up in price. And I buy the flour like that. The sugar, these big bags, they all get tipped into a big sugar barrel. They stay in their bags until the sugar barrel is empty. We've got canisters in the kitchen we decant into, and then they, because they're sealed here, so then they get tipped out into their bags. It's the same with rice. I do the same with rice. I do the same with pasta. I keep them big food grade buckets with lockdown lids, and so dried goods are stored like that. So yes, I am lucky that my husband is on board, and he does see the sense in buying in bulk, buying things when they're on offer. And as he does the majority of the shopping in the shops, it's not very often I go to the shops, he's probably more aware of the prices there than what I am, which is, you know, quite good. Whereas the things I buy online, the bulk things, is what I'm more aware of. But getting back to this point of putting somebody down for stocking up their pantry, especially on a prepping group, it's you know, I when I was reading it, and I'm thinking, where is this person coming from? You know, don't they understand that prepping isn't about buying knives and crossbows and, you know, learning how to trap rabbits and everything else? Prepping is preparing for whatever life throws at you. And if buying a few extra packets and a few extra tins gives you that bit of security, then, and that peace of mind, then that is what prepping is all about. If one of you, there was a post this morning, a lady who, his family has been struck down with a gastro bug, and a family of 5, and like she was saying, without her preps there, you know, they can't get out to the shops, but she's having to rely on her preps, which is good. That's what it's all for. You're not prepping, I'm not prepping for the end of the world. I know some people out there do prep for an end of world apocalypse scenario or whatever. I don't. I prep for hard times, for things like we've just come through 2 years of lockdowns and that. Prepping for shortages in the shops, which is starting to happen, for price rises, buying it now. If I can buy that, for example, for 50p now, and I've bought 8 of them, so that has cost me £4. So that £4, I've bought them, they're sitting on my shelf. If in 4 months' time they are £1 a bag, that same 8 would cost me £8. And if I needed them then, it's going to cost me another £4 to buy what I need or what I think I will use. Whereas this sitting on the shelf is actually a saving. This is money. Putting food away is money. It's putting money on the shelf. You're saving yourself money in the long run. Here in the UK, there's been announcements of eggs going up because animal feed's going up, the grain and everything is going up, and the electric for the commercial birds that are kept in sheds, etc., all the electric's going up. So that's a knock-on effect with eggs going up. There's also a bit of an egg shortage because we've had bird flu. A lot of the commercial poultry farmers have lost their flocks, and a lot of poultry farmers have also looked at the costings, and it's just not worth their while being, you know, doing that or having that amount. So there's a bit of an egg shortage, and or there will be, and prices is going up, which will also have an effect on chicken meat. None of that really affects me personally, because we have our own chickens, we have our own ducks, so we have our own egg supply. Yeah, we have got the feed cost issue, but we're working on that, of ways around it. And so it's, yeah, so that is just the eggs and chicken meat. The other thing was, there was an announcement yesterday, day before, milk is going up. Same thing, the transportation of milk, the feeding of the dairy cattle, electricity, energy use in producing, storing, pasteurising the milk, etc. is all having a knock-on effect, so milk is going up. Again, we milk our goats, and we might just have a month or so a year where we're running out of milk while we're waiting for them to come back into milk again after kidding. Like at the moment, we are buying in milk. But then in about 10 days time, I think I'm starting to milk again, because I'm going to start night weaning the kids. So we'll be back into our milk production. If milk goes up, that's your butter going up, your cheese going up, your yogurt going up. Any of the other dairy, anything that's connected with dairy will go up. Of course, we know about the grain shortage. That's going to have an effect with bread, pasta, biscuits, pastries, anything, breakfast cereals, anything that involves grain. Oh, what else has there been? Rises in cooking oil. You know, there is a shortage of cooking oil, and there is, I know I've seen articles about people buying in them, these big bottles, and they're using it to mix with diesel in their cars, because fuel, of course, has gone up in price. I don't plan on going down that route. And yeah, everything is going up, and all we can do is, when we see an offer, if we can afford it, buy it. It's not hoarding, you're not being selfish, you're being clever. You're looking after you and your families and your friends, what, you know, whoever it is you're buying for, sharing with, providing for, you're looking after their interests. And at the end of the day, somebody has to, because the government aren't going to be there to help out. And I know in some countries the rationing is, there's more and more rationing going on. You know, it's just, where is it going to end? Is it going to end? Where are we going to be in 12 months' time? Here in the UK, 1st of April, our gas and electricity went up, and for most people it was like a 50% rise in gas and electric. I'm doing a separate video on that. But that 50% rise, if you were spending £100 a month on electric, you're now spending £150 a month. You've got to find that £50 from somewhere. Wages haven't gone up in accordance, but that we don't use gas here. We're not on gas. We use electric, but we don't use gas. We use some electric, but we try to minimise what we can electricity wise. And they've already said October we're going to have another rise, possibly another 50%. So what was costing us £100 worth of electric back in March, come October, is going to cost £200. And you think, how can people afford that? You know, it's going to be, can we eat, or do we turn the heating on? You know, and people are going to have to make some very, very serious choices. So prepping for that by buying when you see something on offer and you can afford it, you know, buy it. You know, you're going to put money on the shelf. You are looking after your future. So that's my Wednesday waffle for today. And anybody who says that preppers are just hoarders and stockpiling, you know, that they've just got rooms and rooms full of food, and you know, and that it all ends up going out. I've seen people say it all ends up going out of date, you know, and they're throwing it out. Well, a good prepper will be rotating. So when they buy something like their rice, they'll check the date on it and they will shelf it. This one is 2023. You know, if the other bits on the shelf, if some of it is 2024 and some of it is 2022, they'll make sure the 2022 is in the front, and you know, they organise accordingly. The other good thing a lot of preppers do is they keep an inventory of what food they've got, and they will try and meal plan around that, and they will use what they've got in store. It's not just sitting there waiting for this rainy day to arrive. They're actually using it as part of their everyday meals, and you know, and cleaning products, etc. Cleaning products don't generally have a shelf life on them. You know, so it's good housekeeping. That's what it is. It is good prepping housekeeping, and to regularly check the dates on things. And a good way of doing it is, if like me, you're half blind and you can't see without your glasses, and you've got this tiny little date written on the front, get a Sharpie and write the date in big letters across the label, so you can see it at a glance. Oh, that one has got to be used. You know, rotate your goods, store your goods correctly, don't waste the food, and if you see something is coming to the end of its shelf life, incorporate it into up and coming meals. You know, I have seen people on some groups say, oh, this is now 6 months out of date. Yes, you know, I've had to bin all that. You know, don't bin it just because there's a date on it. You know, if it looks fine, you know, if it's dried products and if it looks fine, use it. You know, when you open a tin of something, and oh, I can't get to them, as I say. Talking of tins, there was some tins I picked up. You know, do your housekeeping, do your inventories, do your rotating, keep your shelves stocked. Don't feel guilty for buying extras of anything, and we just all have to keep going. We haven't got, there isn't a choice. And if you're leaving something on the shelf because you think, oh, you know, that mum with 2 kids coming up behind me might want it instead. Well, that mum, you don't know, with 2 kids might have 20 of them sitting at home, and she's going to think, well, if she doesn't buy them, I'm going to buy them, and I'm just going to add them to my stash. You have to buy and provide for what you need to buy and provide for. It's not down to anybody else to tell you otherwise. If you are just hoarding for the sake of hoarding, then yeah, shame on you. That isn't the way to do it. So don't let people put you down. Don't let, you know, if they're rolling their eyes at you because you're buying 6 of something on 6 tins of beans, you know, instead, and they're only buying 2. Well, they don't know your circumstances at home. And if I'm out and I'm buying 6 of something, because I very, very rarely go to the shops, it might be that is what I need to see me through the year. How dare somebody else judge me for what I'm buying? So yeah, so that is my Wednesday waffle. That's all I've got to say on the subject. So I'll be interested to read your comments, to see what everybody else thinks, see what's happening in your area, what your views are on things. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And like I said, I haven't got the builders in today, so I'm working through quite a few videos that are on my list of things to do, because I've got no noise and distraction and banging going on from them. And I'll catch up to you again soon. So take care everybody, and keep them shelves filled.